mighty dwarf kingdoms, long thought diminished, are resurgent under their high king.
Greetings and salutations, welcome to a brand new Total War Warhammer guide, and we finally got the release of the new DLC, The King and the Warlord. Not quite a catchy or cringy title as the last one, but it kind of does exactly what it says on the tin, and it mainly focuses on the Dwarfs and the Greenskins. So today we're going to take a look at the mighty, I'm going to mess the names up, so it's either Belegar Ironhammer or Belegar Ironhammer. I'm going to go for Belegar Ironhammer. And he is a massive fighty dude. I love the little thing on his back there. But he also comes with some little ghostly friends. Imagine them as sort of Star Wars Force ghosts. They're ethereal units. You've got two Thanes, a runesmith, and a master engineer. There's your little buddies. Maybe he's lonely and he's got some ghosty friends to help out. So let's go through what the unit does, what his stats are, what his abilities are, and then we'll go and kill some goblins because that's what dwarfs do. It's kind of the rules for dwarfs. So a Belegar is a hammer infantry unit. He's strong as an ox, really toughly armoured, and hits really hard. I was going to swear horribly then, but he just really hard. You know what I meant. So he's armoured and shielded, meaning that he stops damage from weapons that aren't armor piercing, and also really good against sort of shields, obviously really good against bows. He's also a melee expert, meaning he's just going to kick the crap out of people, and he's got a charge defense against all, so he's really good at just sort of a defensive solid unit that you can just take anything on basically. So he's got 5,000 hit points, which is amazing, 120 armor, 85 leadership, both amazing stats. He's a dwarf, so he's got little legs, so his speed is 32. But his melee attack is 60, his melee defense is 50, and his weapon strength is a massive 450. 160 of that is armor piercing damage. That's quite a nice split. That basically means he can just sort of take anyone on, really. And he's got a charge bonus of 30. So let's take a look at his sort of basic stats. Missile resistance 15%, we know most of this stuff. The dwarven magic resistance of 25%. He's a siege attacker, meaning that he can actually go straight for the gate. He's also got expert charge defense, as we saw before. He's also can encourage his, because he's a legendary leader, because he's a leader, he gets encourage ability, which gives him that leadership boost to nearby allies. He can hide in the forest because he's only little. He's got the foe seeker. Most of these are sort of standard abilities. Giving himself 24% speed, which isn't much for a dwarf really, and 18% vigour. And also he's got the Deadly Onslaught ability, another leadership ability, lasts for 36 seconds, nice long time, gives him a charge bonus and armour piercing damage. Both those abilities are just for himself. Next up we've got Stand Your Ground, and it casts on yourself but affects allies within 45 metres range, gives them plus 16 leadership and plus 36 melee defence, both extremely strong for 15 seconds. That's pretty damn good. And he's got the Mighty Oath Stone, which cast on himself, affects all allies within 45 metres, lasts for a really good time, 26 seconds, 36 melee defence and expert charge defence, meaning him along with the units around him can take a charge from anything pretty much. And he's got the Revenge Incarnate, which is a self ability, gives him plus 58 melee attack. Imagine casting all those. He's going to hit hard. Plus 36% armor piercing damage, and it also makes him unbreakable, which is really good if you're in a sticky situation where you can't have that unit breaking. But bear in mind that only casts on himself. So as you can see, just a massive tanky defensive character that can buff his allies. Really good leader. Let's talk about his buddies. So he's got two Thane buddies, and they work exactly like Thanes. The only difference is they're ethereal, so they've got physical resistance of 80%. To counter that, they've lost nearly all their armour. He's armoured and shielded, as we talked about before, but he's very low armour, but you don't need that as an ethereal unit. Minus 80% physical resistance is pretty damn good. But because he's ethereal, because he's a bit ghosty, he causes fear and he causes terror, which we've been through many times before. He's also got the standard abilities for the Thanes. I won't go through them because I've already done a Thane video, so you can go and check that out if you want it. Here's his little buddy, exactly the same. Oh, obviously, with the etherealness nature of him, he does magic damage, as you can see here. You can highlight over it, which is really good if you're going up against other ethereal units or stuff you need to do magic bonuses. So he's got his little buddy. very similar in stats. He does a little bit more damage, this guy, but we're more interested in the other guys. So this is the Runesmith. Like I said, exactly the same runes as all the others, plus ethereal, plus the causes fear. And fear and terror is fantastic. To have that in the Dwarf army, really, really useful. There's his abilities. Like I said, go check out the other videos if you need a breakdown of what those guys do. Just search for Runesmiths and Thanes and Master Engineers on my channel and you'll find those videos. Lastly, we've got the Master Engineer, which is one of my favourite units. He comes with, he's a ballistics expert, he's armoured, armour piercing and ethereal. Like I said, exactly the same as normal Master Engineer, but the fear, terror and ethereal nature of him. So, let's talk about our friend and his ghostly brothers. We're going to just, while we chat about them, we're going to kill lots of little goblins. They are quite far away and they are sitting on there, so they're not going to come to us anytime soon, are they? I think we're going up against lots of little goblins. So this is basically the direct opposite of the other guy in the DLC, which is Skarsnik, which I'll make a separate video on. And he's just a beast. It's pretty, I'm sure lots of you have already played this game lots by now, so I'm not going to go too into detail how to use him. But as you can see, his abilities, a lot of these abilities, he's got a few that improve himself, but the way you'd use him is this sort of defensive counter-attacking ability where you can just basically send him off. Oh, sorry, not send him off, because that's the opposite of defense, isn't it? What a stupid thing to say. So you can keep him front and centre of your lines. He can take a punishment, you can get him in the fight, you don't have to be worried about him dying, he's tough as nails, and basically you buff up your main heart of your units. What are we fighting against here? We've got the new Night Goblin War Boss and a bunch of goblins. I think there's some Night Goblins up there as well, so yeah, I think we just randomly charge into them. And by charge I mean really slowly walk, because we're dwarfs. But like I said, the way you'd use the main guy, totally forgot his name, Belegar, is basically front and centre, smashing the shit out of people and getting involved in the masses. There is a slight difference in that his little buddies, we've got them activity, his little buddies are going to work very much differently. So we've got our Master Engineer that's actually a ranged unit. We'll just do this first so we can see them in combat while we chat. So our little Master, I won't use any of the abilities, you all know these guys by now, but they're ethereal. So this is, they're just going to slaughter basically. We'll watch our main man getting stuck in here. Here's some Night Goblins. Oh, he is not, he's having a nice time, and he's having a very nice time. So they're surrounded by these little goblins, but they're going to just work their way through them. The way I'd use these ethereal units, because they're very, very interesting, these ethereal units, you've got the 80% physical resistance, and it's not something that the dwarf has normally. So you can either use them sort of sprinkled in your front line, because, like put one basically in each unit, have them there to do a bit of extra damage, soak up a bit of punishment, use your abilities that you've got on them. Obviously the Master Engineer is more likely to sit back and help the artillery and stuff like that. But the other guys, use them as you normally would. The good thing is, as well as being a tough dwarf, that 80% physical resistance is going to massively help just how they fight. You can get stuck in a lot more. You don't have to worry so much about them. Look at the amount of goblins that are fighting these guys, and they're just sort of wading through. They've already about to break one unit. So for me, I wouldn't huddle them together. I would basically have... I forgot his name again. Belegar is your right in the middle of your main army unit. He's going to be there giving everybody those boosts. That defense charge defense is amazing as well. Not many units have that sort of thing. And so he would be front and centre. And then what I'd do is, throughout my main line, I'd have one of these ethereal units sprinkled in across the main line. One on each flank, a couple nearer the middle, then Belegar in the middle. And I think it would just give that extra punch. A bit of extra survivability. You've got those, obviously the Runesmith abilities as well to buff even more. I think they are going to be deadly in the game. So let me know what you think of these new units, guys, because it's something totally different for the Dwarf army. It gives them an extra dimension, and I think that's what they needed. That's definitely what made them weak in the multiplayer arena, was that people were just struggling to use them. But hopefully this will give them a bit more flexibility. So Let me know what you think of them, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button and subscribe if you're new to the place for lots more Total War and other good gaming content and stuff like that. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me, guys. Bye-bye.